Made vote for them picks, but we ain't posers. Realest niggas left, ain't nobody coming closer.
Come on, my people. Come on, my people. It's another episode of Blocks to Bags.
Yeah, we're
In-
back.
In this week's episode of Blocks to Bags, we take an in-depth look at the world of angel investing. Join us as we discuss the ins and outs of exciting form of investment and learn how you can get started as an angel investor. We'll talk about different types of angel investing, the potential rewards of having angel investor in your team, the potential risk, and whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out. This episode is going to provide valuable information, hopefully inspiration for your own angel investing story. And we'll talk about our recent co-investment. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Investment
Blocks
boys,
to bags,
let's go.
fun soon come for your head tap. You know
Come
what I'm
on.
saying?
As usual, it's your boy Bejay.
It's your boy Seb.
And let's get going. So Seb, what is an angel investor? Obviously, you're one of the co-founders of Angel Investing School. So talk to us. What is an angel investor?
An angel investor, if I'm gonna break it down for them and is basically the first round of funding that you'd get in terms of whether it's friends, family, former entrepreneurs, mentors. It's that first bit of capital that you need to kind of prove your business idea or get it off the ground. So angel investors write checks between, it could be anything from a couple of £100 to tens of thousands. And if you're a big boy angel investor out in Silicon Valley, them man are writing checks for hundreds of thousands. Even $100,000 check is not considered that much for a Silicon Valley angel investor, but you can think of them as the first type of investor in your investment journey. And that usually comes in at the seed or pre-seed kind of rounds, as we like to say.
Yeah, for sure. I've also, I would just add to it, like when you're building your business, that friends and family round can be very significant in making your thing really real. A lot of time when you're starting a business, as I've done many times, you are putting your own money up, you're finding ways to just make it happen. And it can be very, very powerful if you can get 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 different individuals to put anything from $1,000 to even up to 75 grand or 100 grand each. It can really give you the momentum and give you the fire, the financial fire to kind of withstand months and months of runway.
100%. And money is one part of it, but the other part of the angel investor is the advice, experience, connections that they kind of bring. I know you are definitely a value add angel investor. I know you've been doing a couple of deals around the block and that.
Absolutely.
And I've been seeing the different things that you've been offering founders and things like that. So as an angel investor, outside of the money, what else can you sort of bring to the kind of table when you're looking at it from your perspective, for example?
Yeah, like I've been angel investing for a couple of years now, and this year I did 2 investments that I'm really proud of. There's a couple others I'm working on. And for me as an investor, an angel investor, the fact that I'm also an entrepreneur that currently run businesses and I speak internationally, I think what I bring to the founders is insights around their personal brand, insights around their first 10 hires, insights around building company culture, and then insights around how to utilize marketing and campaigns to kind of hockey stick your growth as a brand. Oftentimes my founders are invested in or I'm coaching hit me up with particular advice around go-to-market. I've become the go-to-market guy for them on their core book, in their core book, and I kind of like that position. And I often like to kind of offer value that's not just based on what I can do, but also my network, because half of the battle when you're building a business or you're wanting to go out and do things is actually knowing who to speak to, knowing what a fair price is, and if I can give anyone any gems that enables them to, save thousands and thousands of pounds or thousands and thousands of heartbreak, especially companies in my portfolio, I'm super game. Question back to you, Seb. Then obviously you've got now a network of so many angel investors, which I'm part of as well.
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the kind of like characteristics or kind of things that you're noticing when you talk to the new breed of angel investor out there? Because the image of angel investor I had in my mind growing up was someone who maybe was like in their 50s, 60s and was maybe like an older white gentleman who made money.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that people who look like me could also be angel investors. But that was just my limited knowledge at the time. And now I see so many people like me and like others But yeah, you obviously are leading your ecosystem. What do you notice when you see these new breed of angel investors? What are some of the similarities that you're noticing between us and
100%. It's a new world, baby. We're going into a new era, a new dawn where access to investing, access to founders, to startups, what I like to call the big, I don't know if I can say it, the big blood clot slice of the digital pie. That thing is essentially, it was quite opaque before in that angel investing, venture capital, it started off in Silicon Valley, right? It started off on the other side of the world. And although there's like so many founders and innovation across the world, it's kind of spread from the west coast of America and kind of gone across the world. Now, what's happening in the UK? I would say we're like a little bit behind America, but in terms of trends, everyone wants to get into angel investing. And what I'm mainly seeing is tech workers. The majority of people that I see are people that work in tech and finance.
yeah?
They know the game. They know how startups work. They know what the funding looks like. They probably already know a couple of cool entrepreneurs and things in their network. The thing is, they've never realized that you can actually get in on some of these deals. And when they understand the world of angel investing and when it's broken down, it's like actually not that opaque or it's not that scary to actually go up to a founder that let's say, for example, you've been chatting to a founder. We find that a lot of the new breed of angel investors, they're already plugged into a lot of entrepreneurs, either through just simple advice, coaching, coffees, mentoring, those kind of relationships. And it's just about how do you kind of convert that into potentially owning a part of that company and growing with the kind of founder. So
Yeah.
what I'm seeing, especially from the angel investing school, is number one, women. Oh my goodness, I am seeing so many women coming up and wanting to get involved with investing. It's actually quite inspiring to see. And there was like a report that I saw recently, which is female angel investment has increased overall in the last decades, but the numbers are they're still quite low actually. So I think they made up 14% of angel investments last year, which is not the greatest number, but that's kind of going up, and I think that will change in the next couple of years. So I've got this kind of statistic, this graph from Sifted, which showed that female angels basically invested around 91 million in 2012, and that figure has nearly tripled now, and it's around, last year they invested 266 million across 409 deals, and this is from Sifted. So we definitely see like a big trend kind of going up. Another thing that I'm kind of seeing is something that we like to think of as small ticket, big dream philosophy, where people are realizing through crowdfunding, there's platforms like Crowdcube, Seeders, all these kind of things, that you don't have to have like £100,000 to be able to invest in technology companies. If you're actually connected to the right people and you're providing value from early, you can have those conversations with founders and be like, yo, listen, brother, slide me a little couple percentage points, you know what I'm saying?
But also just the same advice to founders and to creators looking for backers. You can actually be building relationships with people who, will surprise you when you need a 5 or 10K. I've definitely been able to get all kinds of individuals to support rounds and support financing for businesses and products I've been in. People who just be like, all right, cool, here's 10K. So it's really about,
it's like that snap of a finger.
Yeah, but it's really about watering the relationship so that when you do go over a proposition and you go to start a conversation, you'd be surprised people will back you if they feel like they know you and they know the story you're on, the journey you're on. People love backing people that they think are going to win. So do not underestimate the power of supporting people for real.
For real. And like the power of relationships and the kind of ecosystem is becoming more and more apparent. Whereas if you want to be an angel investor, I mean, let's just actually zoom out for a little bit and talk about just the importance of investing. Like a lot of us might be in 9-to-5 jobs. We might not have businesses that are generating hundreds of thousands or millions of pounds. So for me, like another way that I can make money in the future, not only can I have my 9-to-5, I have my job where I'm essentially selling my time for money. I've got businesses that I try to start. Hopefully they'll scale one day, that kind of thing. And then the other thing is you can actually invest your money and watch that kind of grow over time. So I think with angel investing, a lot of people actually get started. I've seen with stocks and shares, index funds, they've kind of dipped their toes into in investing in general, but they've never really considered or thought about angel investing or angel being part of that kind of mix. So
Yeah.
what I would say to people is to really, like, we all know we're all having those conversations about building generational wealth. We're all having those conversations about the importance of investing and making your money work for you. And for those of you that have got into, you know, stocks and shares, that kind of thing, I would say take a look at angel investing. Although that being said, it is very risky, right?
Absolutely.
It is one of the most riskiest things you can kind of do with your money in terms of investing. These are very, very early stage businesses. We've all seen the stats where it's like 95% of businesses don't make it past the first year. And it's a very risky thing to do if you don't know what you're doing, I would say, or if you're not informed, or if you don't have a bit of education around it. Obviously, it's always going to be a risk, but the more you're informed, the more knowledge you have, the more networks you have, the more mistakes you've made, the more you've learned from other people's mistakes, the better chance of a success that you have. And the whole thing with angel investing and investing in startups and equities in general is, hey, I will invest in, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 companies, and I will probably expect an outsized return on 1 or 2 of those companies.
Yeah.
The other couple companies will probably do all right, and I could probably expect to take a loss or a write-off on 3 or 4 of those other sort of companies. So it's all about like balance and understanding the different investment strategies and that kind of thing. With the angel investing, they always say, like, don't just make one invest. People usually spread it out across 10 different, like, they have a portfolio. As you said, you've got a portfolio.
Yeah,
And
for sure. And I think something to also think about when it comes to the angel investment world is most definitely like taking a long-term view. So there's definitely excitement of things you can access right now. But in terms of that money, it's not something you can just pull tomorrow. So when you're doing your investment plays, definitely look at a portfolio view, but also number 2, be thinking about what are the trends that you're seeing that really inspire you about the business you're considering, and is it something that you want to be involved in for 5 years or 8 years or 7 years? You know, like your clear out doesn't always happen in a year. However, your money can grow substantially by the time the business makes a return to you. So that's the risk you take, but also the opportunity you take. And one question I always ask myself as an investor who's growing in the angel investing space is, what are the things that make sense to me, and whether this market entrepreneur is going down is something that is of interest to me. But that's one of my own values, and that's why you need to have a thesis. Because some people, it might not be important to them for the business to be interesting. It might just be about the numbers. But for me, the type of investment I am very much aligned to the kind of entrepreneur I am, where I think about social and I think about impact. So once you identify who you want to be, then that should play a massive role with like the stuff you're looking at, which really they're things you're holding for 5 years.
Facts. Said these are not short-term invest. It's not something that you can buy your shares in a company and just ask for them back. There has to be an exit event or a liquid. Like, number one, there has to be a liquidity or an exit event for you to kind of get your return right on those kind of shares. And that could either be another round of funding, like a Series A round, when institutional investors and VCs come and they want to kind of clean up the cap table. So you probably have an opportunity to kind of sell your shares there. Or if you want to hold on to it, there's stuff like pro rata rights and stuff like that, where you can follow on your investment. If you've got the P's, you can follow on your investment and keep your stake in the kind of company until they IPO or until they get bought or acquired by another kind of company. And that usually takes at least 10 years. I know the average number of years from start to IPO now is like 10 years for private tech companies, and that number is only growing and growing and growing. I think 15, 20 years ago, it was only 3 or 4 years at the dot-com bubble. So literally companies were being created and they were IPOing in like 3 years, 4 years. So your investors are getting like a mad payday in like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah,
But
and
now,
able to pay for more stuff after.
for more stuff, now you take the example of Uber. Uber is like a great case study where it took them like 11 years to go public, to IPO. And one of the early investors that, you know, people like to use the example of, you know, successes with angel investing is Jason Calasanus. And he is initially invested, I think it was like 100K check or a 20K check. It wasn't more than 100K, but he essentially rid that investment out. He was an angel investor, so he invested when them man were literally showing their decks, their early deck of the products, and my man held on to that until they went public, and now his shares are worth over $100 million.
Crazy.
100K to 100 M's.
So yeah, backing the right founder, powerful.
Very powerful. Very powerful.
And then also coming up with a little committee or a little crew that you're working with is also cool. So I have angel investment friends, you know, shout out Andy IM, shout out Yvonne Bejay, shout out my guy Seb here. But you know, having peers in the industry who you're, you know, looking at deals with together, or they're sharing deal flow, also helps to kind of sharpen your knowledge. If you're not London based, obviously, as you can tell, we're very London focused right now, but just thinking internationally and thinking just generally for people listening all over the UK, there are angel syndicates which are fairly free to join if you have the accounts to show you're available and willing to invest. And by you joining a syndicate, your commitment is just to make 1 or 2 investments a year. But what it provides you is access to knowledge, access to network, and access to more angel investment friends, which all of this stuff just helps with your ability to have more due diligence and move with a bit more precision. So yeah, I hope that is very useful for those who are looking at getting into angel investing. So like joining an angel syndicate, building your thesis out, understanding that it's a 10-year play, 6-7 year play, not a 1 year play. But then there's also benefits of what you can do in supporting the business. These are all very, very, I think, important things to know about the world of angel investing.
100%. And if there's anything else you could do, is just get involved, go to meetups, meet founders, speak to them, like really kind of get in the mix with founders and investors. And you're talking about personal brand and building that kind of brand. That's such an important thing. That's something you could do from now without spending a dime. You can literally start connecting with founders. You can start helping them out. You know, if you're good at marketing, if you're good at sales, you can drop, hey, yo, come meet me for a coffee. Let's have a look at your strategy and let me see if there's any advice or any help that I can kind of give you. We do that anyways, and I'm sure a lot of people do that anyways, where it's like you just want to be helpful. And, you know, I find that with a lot of angel investors as well, it's like they're driven by the passion. It's funnily enough, it's not even about the money. When you go deep into angel investing, you find that it's not even about the money, and the people that do it for the money are usually the ones that don't really get the big exits. What you tend to find is that people go into the world of angel investing so they can get closer to entrepreneurs. It gives their life some sort of extra purpose, and you get just a sense of fulfillment from working with really innovative entrepreneurs who are like looking to change the world. Like, who doesn't want to hang out with these people and work with them and chat with them and that kind of stuff? So yeah, it's one of those things where I think connect with everyone. Do it for the passion. It's not about the money. Be strategic. Learn as much as you can. You can sign up to the Angel Investing School if you want. You can come to some of our meetups that we do. You can connect with other people in the kind of ecosystem, and get started. Really, make that first check. If you've got the money, save it up and make that first kind of check and really get in with that. And I think another thing that we actually need to talk about is props to the UK government, actually. The policies that they've brought in through the EIS, and it's called the SEIS scheme, is basically it's a scheme where if you're a high net worth individual, or if you've got money and you invest it into early stage startups in the UK, you can write a percentage of that investment off as a tax write-off, essentially. And that policy has done a lot to encourage people with money in the UK to actually spend it on UK entrepreneurs and innovation and things like that. So yeah, if you got a couple bags lying around in the bank,
Boom, boom. Then definitely get in.
get in.
Get in whilst you can. Is there anything else that we should mention for people wanting to be angel investors or for investors looking to brush up on their skills?
Yeah, maybe some of the different, I guess, platforms and ways of getting into angel investing that we've kind of seen. I think a good thing to talk about is SPVs, special purpose vehicles. You've got companies like Odin, big up Odin. They're a great partner to AIS, and we've probably used them on a couple kind of deals and stuff like that. But essentially, there's technology and platforms out there where you can group together with your friends and make an investment as like one entity essentially. So if the founder is asking for a minimum size check of £10,000 and you've got 10 of your boys, you don't want to put 10 grand in by yourself, but you got 10 of your boys who each have a grand to put in. Pretty smart way to do it. You can essentially form an SPV together and each put in a grand, and then it will come under sort of one sort of company or one check when you're going to the kind of founder. So understanding the technology out there, SPVs. You've also got like the platforms that you can go find startups to actually start investing in. What I find is a lot of people that actually come to the angel investing school, they've already made, and this was my story as well, they've already made an investment on Crowdcube. They've already found a company that they really like. Like, for example, a couple of years ago, back in the day when I was like freelancing and that kind of thing, and fintech was blowing up in the UK, Monzo was a big thing, Starling Bank, and it was an exciting time. I actually got into angel investing and through Crowdcube, and I actually invested in, there was a couple of cool companies that I thought were quite cool. One of them was called Go Henry. It is essentially like a credit card for children that parents can kind of manage their children's money, spending, cards, finances, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is actually a sick company. We all use cards and we all use Apple Pay. And like, why shouldn't 13, 14-year-old kids have debit cards? They can't be rolling around with cash. So I was like, this makes sense. So I put in a couple £100 just through Crowdcube just to see where it kind of went, isn't it? And that was a cool investment. You can also see other companies like on there. Literally have a look at what's out there and understand what type of companies are raising and if there's anything that takes your fancy. Me, I was into fintech earlier on in my kind of career because I was like, fintech's a really interesting thing. I'm seeing the rise of open banking in the UK. When I left uni, I actually did my first placement internship at an asset management bank called Investec. So I had a lot of exposure to that kind of world and I found it interesting.
Yeah.
But now I feel like my tastes are kind of shifting more towards consumer niche groups. I think should we talk about Ruka as well?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? So one of the investments that we did was a company called Ruka Hair.
Yeah.
And
That's live, guys. We did that literally last week.
Let's go.
She waiting to raise 700k and she did $1 million.
$1 million.
Don't know.
And it's a pretty cool kind of concept where it's essentially a platform, online marketplace, community for targeting Black women of color, who want to buy hair products such as weave, extensions, products to actually help with their hair, like wet products, dry products, that kind of thing. And essentially, Ruka are trying to create like the Apple of hair care. They're trying to create the Apple of hair care. And I was like, okay, this is really interesting actually, because the community that I grew up in Southeast London. I used to go to East Street Market all the time. I used to see all of these hair shops in there. And I always used to see that they were mainly frequented by like Black African kind of women. And like a lot of the shop owners were like Indian and things like that. And that's something that I always noticed kind of growing up. And as I got into like secondary school and things like that, the importance of weave, it was like, yo, me and my boys used to joke about it, like, yo, why are all the girls wearing weave? But like, Now that I'm older, I see, yo, this is a great freaking opportunity. Yo, girls have been banging weave since I was in secondary school.
Yeah. Even
Up
my
until now.
mumsies and that,
Even
aunties and that.
aunties, mumsies, everyone, bro.
Yeah.
Even when I go back to Ethiopia, Ethiopians are known for having, I know some would consider nice hair, curly, all that kind of stuff. But bare women in Ethiopia wear weave.
Yeah.
It's just the thing.
Yeah.
It's just the thing. And when I saw that what Tendai was doing, I was like, okay, cool. She's a black woman anyway. Hearing her story and knowing that this is not even just like the first time that she's trying a business, she's a bit of a seasoned entrepreneur. Sick. Seeing that she had her eyes set on the African market as well, a $4 billion market for hair products and extensions. That's insane.
That's called going for the bag.
That's
Going
big.
for the going for the.
You know what I'm saying? Getting them 3-pointers, the triple double.
I think a reason I wanted to invest in this round was I've seen the business go from strength to strength from when they were backed by Backstage a couple of years ago, and they got featured by Tommy Williams in Forbes article. So we got a couple mules there, and they basically just doubled down on what they know and what they wanted to do. And recent months they've been in Selfridges, and they're really on a clear path of building real momentum for what it is they're doing.
Exactly.
So yeah, I've really enjoyed learning about their business, learning about them, but more importantly, just seeing the fact that the market is ready. The market is ready, and
The sales are there as well.
and investors are backing them. So yeah, the proposition and the pitch was super clear. They did a sold out event at Google with some of our other mutual friends. Shout out Translate Culture, shout out the Google Fund, and yeah, it was super dope to just see that. And I think for us as BLOCKS2BAGS and as a duo, Seb and I, we're going to be looking to invest a lot more in 2023. So stay tuned for open calls for pitch events, open call for entrepreneur dilemmas, and we are also going to be documenting behind the scenes of us helping people get to their raise. So you guys saw us link up with Jonathan before. We might bring him back, bring other angel investors, and do some call-ins and see if we can hear live some pitches from people. I think that's a really great place to segue into, like, going into 2023. Do you reckon you'll angel invest in businesses where you've never met the founder before, who are not based in the UK? What's your appetite like?
Yeah, my appetite's open. So I've got an allocated pot of money that's there for angel investing. I've done the stocks and shares thing last year. The year before last, I didn't done the crypto thing last year. 2023 is all about angel investing, and that's where I kind of want to focus my efforts in. And
You're like, money.
more like all your money's gonna be gone. Really, literally, you might not see it back. It's just into the ether. So with investing outside of the UK and other countries, I get scared. What scares me about that is I always think back to my bro Andy AM, founder of Angel Investing School, and some of his lessons that he learned. And one of the things that he talked about is when he was up and coming and wanted to do investments, someone pitched him to do an investment in Africa. Now, as an African, I've always wanted to invest in Africa, and it sounds like a great idea, but it's like his money got lost essentially, and there isn't the same sort of rules and regulation. It depends on the market and stuff like that, but I feel very comfortable in the UK because we're highly regulated.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, I know the people in the kind of ecosystem, like it's...
Like, I'm going to pull up. I'll pull up.
I'll pull up
to your co-working.
Pull up right now, cuz send location. But at the same time, maybe you should be looking at other markets. We know that the UK is being the hardest hit by macroeconomic crisis. We might be going into recession. We're seeing like the American market is much more resilient actually, and probably might not go into recession, and some of the other European countries might not go in, but the UK economy has been slowing like a lot recently. So there might be other opportunities in other markets, maybe in Europe. But for me, I definitely want to start off with home base, home ground, home soil. There's some fantastic talent in the UK, man. There's unbelievable entrepreneurs here. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why there's so much funding that goes into London, is because of just the sea of talent and innovation and entrepreneurs. And the fact that London just draws so many. I'm a migrant. I came to the UK. My mom came to the UK. A lot of people come to the UK for opportunities. So you're probably much more likely to find entrepreneurs doing big things here. That being said, there is that London UK bias. I'm not gonna lie. The London UK bias is always, we think the best opportunities are here. What's the point in even looking outside? And maybe we need to be looking at other regions in the UK. Maybe it's not all about London. There might be some great opportunities in Manchester, Birmingham, Bristol, these kind of hotspots and centers. So I'll definitely say looking at regional areas and there's like actual regional hubs actually that have been identified where I think
they're called enterprise growth zones.
Yeah.
Milton Keynes is one, Liverpool is one.
Yeah.
There's like top 20 growth cities in the UK for sure.
So
for sure.
Definitely. And I think that's something that Ada Ventures kind of do, especially with their Venture Scout kind of program. They look into other regions in the UK to see what's kind of happening, and they've got a great portfolio and they're killing it. So it might be smart to look outside, and obviously we've got plans to maybe travel. Watch this space. You never know, we might be popping up in your city. But yeah, like what's your thoughts? You've got a couple angel deals under your belt.
So
What's your appetite like?
I think my appetite is to tap into a lot more accelerated ecosystems around the world. I've been given opportunities to go and do talks and to go mentor. So there's a lot of things I used to maybe like not really say yes or no to at the time. I used to just leave, but now I'm going to be like, you know what? Let's spread them wings a bit more. Let's get that. Let's pull up. So I just did the accelerator for Roundhouse that introduced me to some people and I really enjoyed it. But there's going to be a lot more networks as well that we can definitely start looking at doing all over the world. So Africa is very high on my agenda. I just think the growth potential is crazy. The risk is obviously up as well, but the opportunities are really, really, really up there. And it'll be good to be there, be home. And America is a great place, a great land of innovation always. So there'll be 1 or 2 trips to LA, New York, Miami. But I actually thinking of places like Texas, so Austin and Houston, where some of the ecosystem has really moved away from the LA San Fran space. So for me, I'd say Texas and across Africa are of interest to me, but as always, homegrown stuff here in the UK. And to be honest, being agnostic as well, like just doing competitions and doing things where it's call out to people all over the internet, and you tap into people that way as well. I think the amount of opportunities with platforms like Odin that enable you to invest very easily. It does enable you to kind of like have people invest in your business from all over the world. So I think that also changes the game for us. And it's about proposition, whether the hypothesis has been tested, what the opportunity is in the market generally, and whether I believe that the founding team are the people to solve that problem.
Love that. And I think that's a good way to end this. Yes. But no, real talk, we will definitely be starting up our Blocks to Bags fund, and we will be coming to a city near you. So any saucy entrepreneurs, hit us in the DMs, hit us in the inbox, send us an email if you want us to look at your business, not only to just help you, but potential investment opportunities there. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Yes, Guy. I've been Bejay.
I'm Seb.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share if you are enjoying these episodes, and see you on the next deep dive.